What is going on, everyone? It is your boy Mark from Mark's Tech. Today I want to review the Pixel 3a and my 72-hour thoughts and opinions about this phone. So let's go ahead and get started. The Pixel 3a. Where were we? So I've had this bad boy for about 3 days now, and I have to admit, it is one hell of a device. Many people were screaming, oh no, it has a Snapdragon 670, it's gonna be so horrible, it's gonna be slow, 4 gigs of RAM, oh my god, it's just so horrible. Guys, let me tell you, I have the Galaxy Tab S5e, and this also has the Snapdragon 640 in it, and it also has 4 gigs of RAM. The Pixel 3a outperforms this. It's not a slow device. In fact, I'm gonna do a little speed test. I hate doing speed tests, but I'm gonna do a little speed test just to show you guys that it's not a bad thing to have a 640 in here, okay? So I'm gonna clear Facebook out of here, and I'm gonna clear Facebook out of here. We're gonna open Facebook in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Do you see $1,000 worth of difference? Like, okay, not really 1,000, like 800 bucks. This is 1,200 because this is a ceramic model, and then this is 400 plastic model. But did you guys really see a $800 difference? I mean, it has a 640 in here. That's fine. Listen, if speed is what you're worried about, this phone is not gonna have you waiting like this to open up Snapchat. Listen, this thing is fast, okay? It works. I mean, look, I'm gonna open up YouTube. Would you die because you had to live through that long load up time? No, come on, guys. Like, look, I'm gonna open up YouTube Studio, boom. Now I'm gonna open up Twitter. It's a fast, okay, hang on. It's not like a fast phone if you do a speed test side by side. I don't like doing speed tests because obviously when you have 2 devices side by side, you're gonna notice a difference, right? But in real world usage, which is what this channel is based upon, I'm not, if you notice me, I don't really go into, tech specs all that much. I care about usability. How is this phone feel? How does this phone use, how do you use this phone on a regular basis? How does it perform on a regular basis? I can easily say after the past 3 days, like, again, I'm gonna sound biased, and I really don't wanna sound biased because then you guys won't ever believe me. I'm not being biased when I say this. In normal day-to-day usage, social media, shooting a picture, recording a video, calling, texting, I see no difference from the Snapdragon 855, 8 gigs of RAM to the Snapdragon 650, 4 gigs of RAM. I honestly don't notice any difference. Now, if you're editing video, if you're doing a lot of layers on Photoshop, or you're exporting a video, yeah, obviously the Snapdragon is gonna completely kill, the Snapdragon 855 will kill the 640 or 670. Yeah, 670. But who does that? Like, really, if you do that on an everyday basis, obviously don't get this phone. It's not meant for you. But if you're the average person, or even someone like me, what you saw, was it slow? Like, did that just turn you off from the phone? Probably not. So if you're worried about speed, don't. All right, we're moving on to cameras. The cameras on this phone is outstanding, really. When I heard people talking about the Pixel 3, when the Pixel 3 first launched, everyone was talking about how great the camera was, this, camera that, the photos look amazing, true to life. I never really understood it because it's kind of hard to notice the difference when you're looking at it from your screen. But whenever you have 2 phones side by side and you're looking at the pictures, the results are shocking. But strangely enough, yesterday I went to the beach, took a photo with my girl's iPhone 10, and then took a same photo with the Pixel 3a, and you guys won't believe me, but here are the results. Now listen, I know most of you guys in the comments, especially Apple fanboys, and I get it, I'm not mad at you. I know you guys are going to call me a liar and say, Mark, you did something with that iPhone. It's either broken or something went wrong. I don't know why the iPhone photo looked that horrible. I don't know either. I don't know why there's such a blue tint to it. I don't know if the sky, the color of the sky, or maybe the color of the surroundings kind of tricked with the iPhone's algorithm and it took that photo. But from what I noticed, the Pixel 8 or the Pixel 3a consistently takes better photos than the S10 Plus, believe it or not, and the iPhone 10. I don't know about the 10s Max or 10s, but the iPhone 10, 100%. It consistently takes better photos. Now, again, key word, consistently. Sometimes the S10 Plus takes better photos. Sometimes the Pixel 3a takes better photos. But if you take about 100 photos more consistently, this will perform better. And again, video coming up, so subscribe. The cameras, again, are amazing. Video cameras, not so much. The video capability of this phone is all right from what I've tested, from what I've seen. They're not game changer. You don't even have 4K 60. So don't expect, again, miracles of Jesus Christ when you're using this phone. But if you're a photo shooter, yeah, this phone, this phone will have you covered. So now let's talk about the back of the phone, plastic. Let's talk about that for a quick second. First of all, yes, it's plastic. Second of all, is that really such a big deal? Think about it. That's one less side you got to worry about breaking or cracking. Check this out. If you got the iPhone XS Max, I don't know about the S10 Plus, but I know the XS Max, if you crack the back of the phone, that'll cost you $550 to replace. Yeah. To replace the glass on the back of the iPhone costs more than this device, plus $100, $150. My math is so good. So yes, it's plastic. I've never felt the original Pixel 3, but from what many people are saying, this like frosted type of feel to it feels identical to the Pixel 3. It's not until you get up here where the glossy part is, do you really notice to like, oh, hey, that's plastic. But obviously around the edges as well, you do notice that plastic quite a bit. But again, is it really that big of a deal? It's a $400 phone. Come on. So again, as the original Pixel 3, you got that two-toned look. You got the fingerprint sensor on the back. You got that pretty awesome green power, or like neon green power on the side, along with the volume rockers. And the volume rockers are going to be the same color as the phone itself. You got that subtle Google logo on the very bottom. You got the SIM slot on the other side of the phone. And on the bottom of the phone, you got your USB-C and the speaker. Now, speaking of speakers, they're actually pretty good. Yes, it's not two front-facing speakers. It's kind of like the same setup as the S10 Plus, where you got the speaker grill up top and then the bottom firing speakers. But let me just show you guys in comparison so you can really see the difference. I mean, let me know if you hear it. I'm gonna play both songs at max volume. So first up, the S10 Plus. And now the S10e, or Pixel 3a. I mean, listen, if you compare the size of these phones, it's not crazy that this phone is gonna sound a little bit better, but this phone, for its size, packs a punch when it comes to the speakers. They actually sound really good. So if you're worried about not having two front firing speakers, listen, don't worry about it. You're not gonna put your ear to the phone trying to hear your favorite movie or your favorite song. This phone is really good. Now, another thing I want to talk about real quick is the battery life. Now, I've only had it for 3 days, so I'm kind of using this more than I normally would as any new device. But I'm pretty much getting about 5 hours of on-screen time with this phone. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be your 7.5, 7 hours and 45 minutes of on-screen time as this beast, obviously. But really, 5 hours of on-screen time from a device this, small, isn't bad at all. In fact, it's very doable. Another thing that impressed me about the Pixel 3a is the haptics. I don't know what it is, but the phone's haptics feel kind of similar. Well, I don't want to say like iPhone. I think iPhone haptics are the best in the industry, to be honest. But this phone is, well, see, I can't really say it's the best Android because I've only used two Androids in my life. But again, if I had to compare it to the S10 Plus, the Pixel 3a definitely has better haptics. Like whenever you're typing and the phone vibrates, definitely better haptics, and also surprisingly better speakerphone quality. Like if I'm talking to someone on speakerphone, pretty much like at this distance, they hear me better on this phone than they do on the S10 Plus. I don't know why. Again, I've actually said this in my previous S10 Plus review. I don't know what it is, but I guess Samsung's just the microphone or something about the sound canceling. It doesn't work as well. But from here, I can hear the person better, more loudly, and they also hear me more clearly. So I don't know what it is. It's not really a deal breaker for me that much. I'm not really on speakerphone, that often. But when I am, it's just good to know that the other person can hear me very well from this device. Now, if you guys noticed, not once did I mention the thing that kind of pops out the most. Now, if you guys noticed, not once did I mention, you know what I'm saying. The bezels. I'll tell you why. I didn't want to start out with talking about the bezels because if you talk about a phone's negatives instead of the positives first, that's going to give the people a presumption that this phone is going to be bad. So that's why I like to start out with the positives, then go to the negatives. Listen, yeah, this phone has gigantic bezels, especially in today's standards, but I don't know why. It doesn't really bother me. Like, it does and it doesn't. Like, I kind of like it a little bit because if I'm playing games, my thumbs, they're not constantly touching the screen. Like like on the S10 Plus, for example, since the S10 Plus is pretty much 100% bezel-less almost, except that little, cutout notch thing. So when I'm playing games, I either need to wear a case or I need to go into good lock and pretty much disable the borders of the phone from my fingers touching it. Or if I'm watching YouTube, for example, if I'm holding the phone like this, sometimes my finger will tap on the screen like by itself kind of, and then the YouTube like play pause will come up. So it's not bad that there's bezels here. Would I prefer them being gone? Of course, and I'm pretty sure on the Pixel 4, if the rumors is true of how it looks like, problem solved. Overall, guys, it's a $400 phone. You can't beat it for its price. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna buy a used S9? Well, guess what? You could, by the way, and it'll be more powerful on paper than this, but guess what? A used S9, let's think about that. When you get a used S9, you're also getting a phone that has a used battery. God knows how many charge cycles went through it. Maybe it'll last you half a day when the original S9 will last you maybe all day. You gotta think about that kind of stuff when you buy a used phone. How good's the battery? What if the person that owned it before you was playing Fortnite with the phone plugged in, which you're not really supposed to do. You're not really supposed to use the phone to its limits whenever you're charging it because it'll ruin the battery because of the heat. So how do you know how the previous owner treated it? What if he dropped it many times inside of a case? If you guys don't know, when you drop a phone, even if it's in a case, the phone is still micro bending even to the point that you can't see. And if a micro bends enough, something in the phone will become loose and then later on get damaged. A lot of that things happen to the iPhone, so I know that just because you drop a phone, just because you don't see anything damaging on the inside or on the outside, it doesn't always mean there's no damage on the inside. Plus, with the Pixel 3a, you do get arguably the best camera, at least in North America. I know the Huawei P30 Pro, I think it is, takes comparable images, if not even better. But that's kind of banned in the States, kind of. You can still get it, but my carrier Verizon doesn't even allow me to use it, to use the phone on the network, so I can't even review it. But you also get lifetime high quality cloud storage with Google. You get, again, a damn good camera. You get stereo speakers. You get a pretty good battery, and you get 3 years of updates. Meanwhile, with the S9, you got what, maybe a year left until Samsung stops pushing out updates. You don't get any cloud storage, or at least free cloud storage, especially unlimited cloud storage. And you also, again, you don't know the quality of the battery. Here, I know, it's brand new. The battery's brand new. I'm the only owner, so think about that before you buy a used device. Again, this phone is great. My 72-hour impression of it was just insane. In fact, today I'm gonna go to the beach, take photos with this device, and then I'm gonna take photos with the S10 Plus. If you guys wanna see the comparisons, they're gonna be live tonight on Twitter and on Instagram, so be sure to check that out. But so far, Google, you're impressing me, man. I mean, you're setting the standards as to what a budget phone should be and how it should perform. So far, so good. So let's see how it is after a month, guys. And that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. This was Mark from Mark's Tech, and have a good one.